Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the non-league Nothing Natter for our third week. Decided to come back, so obviously we're doing something right. Um, just want to say, it looks like we've got the sound issues sorted, so hopefully we won't have that going forward. um, this weekend was quite a big weekend for Step 5 or 6, FA second round weekend. We both managed to take in the Vars game, and I finally got to watch Thibodeau for the first time in about 4 or 5 weeks, so that was fun. And as they faced heavily fancied step six side Sharbrook Town, and Andrew, I believe you were on top of a hill somewhere.
I was in Amersham and they were playing Hilltop, so yes.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, TV in Sharbrook. Um. Tiverdown won it 2-0. I have to say it was a bit of a satisfying result. Um. Yeah, Sharbrook flying high in their league, North East Counties, I believe it is, or NCL or something like that. Got chatting to the chairman before the game. He said they had 3 players out injured. Well, his exact words were the 50-50. But our priority is to get out to step 6, so we're not playing them. We're like, okay, fair enough. And he's like, should be pretty easy for you, like, really, shouldn't it? I was like, well, it depends what Thibodeau turns up. If the Thibodeau that turns up that played well a few weeks ago, you'll walk over us. But if the Thibodeau turns up that beat Colville, then yeah, it should be a good game, and we should get the result. As it turned out, first half, neither team turned up. Yeah,
One of those
quite,
halves, yeah.
yeah, quite possibly the worst 45 minutes of football I've seen for a long time. It wasn't terrible football. It was just meh. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have if you weren't there and turned up at half time and said, "What have I missed?" You would have gone nothing.
Right.
I think the only thing that really happened is towards half time, Shybrook forward with his back to goal has kind of just flicked the ball over his head and it's come off the top of the crossbar, but that's about it. But even that didn't
Right.
really get anyone excited. Um, so, yeah, interesting. Um, but interestingly, back to talking to the chairman before the game, he said that they're not bothered about the prize money because their wage bill is considerably higher than the prize money for this round, which was
Right.
just shy of £1,000. I think it's about £920 this round, so that's a hefty wage, would it, for a step 6 side?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, second half improved. Well, improved massively on the first half. Still not the greatest game. Thibodeau were the team that improved the most. But Starbrook will be disappointed with the 2 goals they've conceded. Really, the keeper's given us both of them.
Yeah.
Tyler Townsend scored both of them. The first one, he's hit a shot low towards bottom right hand corner, and it seems to have gone through the goalkeeper, which is never good from the keeper's point of view. There was some power behind it, but it wasn't the most powerful shot you've ever seen.
Right.
And then that was just after the error mark, and then about 6-7 minutes later, ball played over the top. It looks like it's the keeper's ball all day long. Tyler gets there and manages to get in front of him and head it past him, and then it just rolls into an empty net. So another strange one, but we'll take it. Sharbrooke did have a chance to get back into it with about 15 minutes to go, with a penalty, a soft penalty. It's one of those. The player's backing into the defender's trying not to get stood on so he can get up to win the header. So it just gives him a little bit of a nudge in the back. Is it a push? Is it a nudge? It's one of those. You see him given, but if it wasn't given, I don't think there would have been too many complaints. But that man between the 6, Lewis Connor, again, up to his penalty saves in the FA Vars. Yeah, wasn't the greatest penalty. If he'd gone the other way, you'd have been like, oh yeah, it's a decent penalty. But it wasn't in the corner, and it was ideal height for him, really. He could have just fell over and caught it.
Right.
But yeah, Shirebrook, I don't know. I think I sent you the manager's interview afterwards, and yeah, they're just everyone's saying it's the worst performance of the season. Um, but as I said to a couple of the fans on Saturday, I said if that's your worst performance of the season, you've got nothing to worry about because it was a decent performance.
Yeah.
Um, and they were just lacking in the final third. Good build-up play, just got to the final third, and they just unfortunately on the day just had no cutting edge. I
Well,
don't
that's
think other
that's
than
the way it goes with a cup match. It's a one-off match, and if you don't turn up, you lose. So
yeah, definitely. Other than the penalty, I don't think Lewis has had to make another save in the game. Um, and in all fairness, other than the 2 goals, I don't think the Sherwood keepers had to make any saves in the game.
right,
Yeah. Yeah, but Shirebrook were disappointed, obviously.
yeah.
Actually sounded quite angry. There was a bit of aggression towards from the fans towards the team
I
during the
mean, the
game.
interview just seemed a little bit ingracious afterwards. So,
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned the pitch. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, Tividal isn't the greatest pitch in the world, but it's been far worse than that in the past, and it will probably be far worse than that going on into the season. With the amount of games that have been on there so far, and the amount of games that are due to be on there.
yeah,
Um, yeah, there's a bit of a bank, but it's not. I don't think the pitch was that much of a disadvantage. Um, I know the manager was saying, "Oh, you can't get it there, you can't play football. You can get it there, you can play football." And there's just one certain area of the pitch where it was a bit sticky,
yeah,
but there's a whole another 80% of the pitch where you could play football.
right,
And like he said, it looks like we've turned up and thought we'd already won it, which I have to say from some of the conversations I overheard before the game that yeah, that's what they did think.
yeah,
Um, Half of the squad didn't turn up till 2:15, which is never a good sign either.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, Tivadal into the next
Okay,
round, third round of the Vars, and that's the first time since. Actually, it's the first time since my first season there, the 2011-2012 season. So
so that's a good
yeah,
progression then. Excellent.
yeah,
Well, my game then was at Amersham, so I've been following basically a road to Wembley
yeah,
with the Vars right from the first round. So first round, Northampton Chenecks beat Oxley. They went to Amersham, got thrashed 7-0. Amersham went down to Fleet and beat them in on penalties in the last round, and then they were back home this time for a game against Hilltop. So Amersham are a step 6 side, combined counties Division 1, and Hilltop are a step above, combined counties Premier Division North. Um, and so they kicked off, and actually, it was a better game than yours. Certainly, from the
yeah.
off, it was pretty,
Was it
pretty,
hard?
pretty active. So, I mean, 3 minutes in, and Hilltop get a corner. They bung it in. It's not properly cleared. Lands at the top corner of the 18-yard box, and it's smacked into the top corner of the goal. 1-0 to Hilltop within three
Yeah,
minutes, and you're thinking, here we go. Step 5 beating step 6. This is going to be easy.
yeah,
But then they went to sleep. And I mean, they really went to sleep. The rest of the half was pretty much Amersham all the way. Amersham had it in
yeah,
the back of the net on 18 minutes. A beautiful ball forward and a nice volley over the keeper. I think, there we go, 1-1. No, he was offside. It was a tight decision. I think it was probably right,
yeah,
but it was a tight
yeah.
decision. So
Mhm.
then on the half hour, Amersham have another shot from range. It's only just about tipped over by the keeper. Um, 3 minutes later, they get a corner into the back post, and it's headed just missed past the post, and that's a goal kick. 35 minutes, and it's what did I write there? My goodness me! Oh yeah, there was a bit of a ruckus. Hilltop player fouled an Amersham player, pretty rough. He got a yellow card, but the
Mhm.
Hilltop manager went off on one, and he ended up getting
Yeah,
carded as well, so he had a yellow card. And then finally, 36 minutes, and Amersham have equalised. So yeah, they just it was a free kick, went again to the back post, headed back to the edge of the area and smacked in from the edge of the area. Really nice goal. And 4 minutes later, Amersham had a penalty, a clear foul, correct decision, no problem with the officials on this one. And mind you, Hilltop argued for 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
a couple of minutes later, and it's 2-1 to Amersham. And that's how they go in at half time 2-1 to Amersham. Hilltop had turned up, scored the early goal, thought, that's it, we're on to a winner here, and went to sleep for the first half.
Yeah.
And as I just said, in a cup game, you don't want to do that sort of thing because anything can happen.
Yeah.
Well, I went and got a plate of chips, coated it in ketchup. There wasn't much choice on food, actually. Food was a bit disappointing, but then they are a Step 6 club. They can't afford to do a lot.
Yeah.
The team was good. So I comes back out. I'm stood on the side of the pitch. I watched the kickoff. And there we go. And bingly, bingly, bong, 55 minutes. And Hilltop score. And I think it was a quick goal kick to the left. It was wanged up the other side, floated across over and headed in at the far post. Nice goal. I thought, wonderful. That's 2-2. This is a good game on here. 2-2. There we go. It wasn't 2-2 because somewhere between that kickoff and 55 minutes, and I can't tell you where, Amersham had scored to make it 3-1.
Yeah.
I was stood on the side of the pitch. I reckon I've been abducted by aliens and put back as close to the time as they could manage it, and I've lost 10 minutes. Because I do not know where and when or how Amersham had made it 3-1. In fact, it wasn't until 2 minutes before the end of the game I realised that they'd actually scored that goal. I'll explain that in a minute. But anyway, so here we go, 55 minutes. I think it's 2-2. So
Yeah.
10 minutes later, a corner comes in, scrambled over the line, bit of a goalmouth scramble, and I think it's 3-2 to Hilltop.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's actually 3-3. But I think it's 3-2 to Hilltop. I think, there we go. They've come back out in the second half. They've had a right blast in at half time, told to pull themselves together, get on with the game, and actually treat the other team with a bit of respect and go out and actually properly win it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, at that point, it's 3-3. To be honest, towards the end of the half, the referee had lost control a little bit. There's a bit of aggro going on here and there. At 7 minutes into injury time. I mean, 7 minutes of injury time. At one point,
Yeah.
actually, it was just after that scrambled over the line goal. There was a player left in the goal mouth, and he took about 5 minutes getting treated before he was up. I can't even remember which side he was on. Anyway, there we go into injury time. We got 7 minutes to play of injury time. At one point, and at this point, the guy next to me goes, "Does this go straight to penalties?" And I'm thinking, why does that matter? It's 3-2 to Hilltop.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I wonder. And then just before the final whistle, another member of the Hilltop bench was booked. And then he blew the final whistle, and nobody was leaving the pitch. And I thought, he must have drawn. When did that goal go in? I still have no idea when that goal went. So the game finished 3-3. So we went to a
Yeah.
penalty shootout. And then Amersham took the lead.
Yeah.
They were 3-2 up with one penalty to go. They
Mhm.
they needed just to score it, and they
Yeah.
were through.
Yeah.
They missed it. Hilltop scored.
Yeah.
They missed the next one. Hilltop missed that as well. They missed the next one. So Hamersham have now missed 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then Hilltop eventually scored. I think we were into round 7 of the penalties or something at that point. But Hilltop finally scored, and they go through 5-4 on penalties, I think was the final score.
Yeah.
So the higher team did prevail in the end, but they made damned hard work of it.
Yeah.
And Amersham put up a very good fight, and yeah, they're a good team. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, Shirebrook on another day, they'd have beat us. Or another day it would have gone to penalties, and who knows what would have happened. It's just unfortunate that those,
yeah,
me, former goalkeeper, goalkeeper union, or I don't like to call them
yeah,
goalkeeper game, but it is what it is. It was 2 goalkeeping errors.
yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I'm off to Hilltop for the next round. They've been drawn at home. Hilltop apparently is in Ruislip in West London, and they're inside the ultra low emission zone. My car's non-compliant, so I've got to find a way of getting there without paying £12.50 extra. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And they're up against Hamble Club, which I believe are somewhere in the Southampton area. But I haven't actually looked up to find out yet.
It's a bit of a journey, isn't it? Well,
Yeah,
London to Southampton. I don't suppose it's that. It's
it's
probably
probably
about
about an
90
hour and a
minutes, is
half
it?
actually. If you get good traffic,
Yeah.
it's about an hour and a half, so it's not too bad. It's motorway all the way, so
Yeah,
it's not too bad.
yeah. Just
Yeah,
getting out of the low emission zone first.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I had a compliant car, but I've got an old diesel wreck, so there you go.
Well, I've been telling you for the last 5 years to get a new car.
That's true. Yeah, maybe one day, but just for this, I can't pay the 12. But well, actually, I'm not going to pay £12.50. I'm going to park up the road in Harefield and get the bus.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Avoid it
Fair
that
enough.
way.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was
Um,
FA Vars, and now on to the next round. Looking forward to that.
yeah. Tudor have been drawn away to either Ashby Ivanhoe or Broxton, which was called off at the weekend.
Oh right, okay.
Obviously,
So what play?
weather. They were due to play tonight, but that's also been postponed, so I would imagine that will get pushed back to Saturday.
So Ashby is Leicestershire, isn't it?
Leicestershire away, and Broxton is Staffordshire, so
Right.
not a million miles away for us.
Yeah.
Um, Probably not a coach day, but
I
who
mean, that's a
knows?
good thing we're doing a road to Wembley and the Vars as opposed to the FA Cup. You can
Yeah,
get all the way through all the rounds because they're all easily affordable,
yeah,
and they're never booked out and never sold out. Um,
yeah,
and their rounds are pretty much regionalised all the way, so you're never going to have massive distances to travel until the
well,
very late rounds, really. So
yeah. I was under the impression that it went national in this round, but it doesn't. Looking at the draw, it doesn't seem as though it has been. Um, Certainly
so
going back to the last time we got this far, it was certainly regionalised because I believe we played Binfield in the next round, which is your neck of the wood, the Reading kind of way. Well, it's
mm,
not your neck of the wood, but it's
yeah.
not a million miles. It's closer to you than it is us.
Uh,
Um,
like I say, I mean, the big thing for me is the Vars is affordable. I mean, that ticket was £6 on Saturday, so
yeah,
that's
we were
affordable.
7, so which
Yeah,
is the same as what we always do, 7. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which moves us nicely on to our next topic.
Yeah, how much?
How
Yes,
much?
prices. I've been looking into this and trying to get an idea on prices across
Yeah,
the various divisions because, quite frankly, when I went to Hereford last Tuesday and paid £21 for a ticket in Step 2 of non-league, I
yeah,
thought it was extortionate. So
yeah,
I decided I'd have a look and investigate what sort of average prices there are across. Well, I've certainly done some proper research on the of the top, the step 1 and step 2. Below that, I've got a rough average from looking at random teams.
yeah.
So
That's pretty much what I've done.
looking at National League, so step 1. So we're talking where Wrexham and Notts County were last year. This is the one that goes up to League 2. So
Yeah,
we're talking pretty big teams, most of
hmm,
them with a reasonable stadium,
yeah,
with seating and or terracing.
yeah.
Um, and the average price for a sit-in ticket is £20. In
Which
fact, there's
isn't.
very few that are more than that. The highest one I found was £23 at Dagenham and Redbridge. But they also have terrace in there, which is available for £17. So,
And given where
yeah,
that's located, that's understandable.
absolutely. I mean, East London,
Yeah,
it's a pretty affluent area.
yeah.
So that, but just about everywhere else, Fylde, Aldershot, Altrincham, Borehamwood, Bromley, Chesterfield, all 20 quid. Gateshead, Hartlepool, Kidderminster, Maidenhead, Oldham, 20 quid. Rochdale, 20 quid. Yeah, the lowest one, Solihull Moors, 17 quid.
17.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna say I know Solihull's 17.
yeah, so
That's interesting because he's taking him in since 20.
Kidderminster is 20, yes.
Yeah, so when I went to Kidderminster a couple of years ago, uh, fair enough, it was an FA Cup game, but it was first round of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
They were only step 2, so only one division lower, and it
Yeah.
was only £10, and they were playing Grimsby, who at the time were top of the National League.
Mm, yeah.
So whether that's just like obviously FA Cup will drop the prices to get the crowds in, but
Yeah,
they
I
would
mean
have
for
got the
that
crowds in
level
anyway
of
because they were
football,
playing
I think.
top
I
of the
mean,
league.
you're talking. Yeah, yeah. I mean, National League, you're talking pretty decent sides, decent level of football. 20 quid is actually not that bad. Um,
No,
so
for step
I
one,
mean,
I'd expect that.
it's reasonable for that. I mean, the next step down is National League North, National League South, and looking
Yeah,
across the board, the average pricing for standing or sitting there. A lot of these grounds don't actually specify because they're not separated
yeah,
areas. It's just
definitely. Yeah,
basically you buy your ticket, you can stand or you sit. The average price on
yeah,
those is £15.
yeah,
So paying Hereford like last week, they're in this step. £18 to stand or 21 to sit is actually significantly above the average for that level of football.
yeah.
So I was right to think it was pricey because it is pricey. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think touching a little bit on what we said last week, Hereford's and to an extent come forward as a little bit of an anomaly at that level with where they've been and the
yes,
history of the club here.
that's right.
Um,
They've got a big stadium.
yeah,
It's a stadium that could easily sit in the football league.
yeah.
Whereas you look at some of the others in that level, and you've got
Well,
what have you got?
Rushall Olympic, for example.
Russell Olympic for one, yeah.
Yeah,
Buxton, so
yeah, yeah,
Brackley, that's a tiny place. So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, so they are significantly above the average for that level.
yeah. Fun fact:
Go on.
Buxton. It's commonly known that obviously the Hawthorns is the highest league ground above sea level. But Buxton is actually the highest ground above sea level in. I'm not sure if it's the UK or England.
Interesting. I have to
Hmm.
investigate that
Yeah,
now.
and I would imagine that Tividale's not too far behind, if I'm honest with you. It's certainly higher than the Hawthorns because you can see the Hawthorns
Yeah.
from Tividale on every night.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine that Tividale's too far behind that either. So
No.
yeah,
Sin Buxton away. Were Buxton the ones we saw at Kettering?
yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking of
let's not
Kettering,
talk
while
about
we're on
Kettering.
step two and step two, Kettering sit in step two, don't they? Or do they
I
now?
think it might
No,
be step three.
they're step three. Right. Okay. Step
Yeah,
three then. I know
yeah,
the average for this sort of level, step three. So we are now talking Northern Premier League, Premier Division, Southern League Central Premier, Southern League South Premier, and Isthmian Premier. So
yeah.
four leagues in this step. We're talking an average of £12 a ticket.
Yeah, when I was doing my research, I was finding £12 to £15 was about.
Yeah, somewhere between
Yeah,
12 and 15, but generally speaking, it's 12. Um,
yeah.
so talking of Kettering, Kettering have been a little bit in the non-league news this week. They are
Just a
playing
little bit.
tonight against
Yeah,
Corby in a Northamptonshire Cup match. Now,
yeah,
£12 to £15 for a league match, that's acceptable, that's normal. But you'll find
yeah.
that most teams, when they're playing their local county cup matches, really bring the
Mhm.
prices down to encourage the fans in.
Yeah,
Um, Certainly Hitchin, actually, what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to do it as pay what you want. So you can
yeah,
literally donate what you want for your ticket for that level of match. Um,
yeah.
Kettering this time round decided that it was going to be all online ticketing, online only, no tickets sold on the gate whatsoever, and it was £15 a ticket.
Yeah,
So when they announced this last month, actually towards the end of last month, this was going to be
yeah,
the case. Both Corby Town and the Northamptonshire FA appealed to them to say, think about this, and they basically got no reply, no response whatsoever.
hmm.
Kettering put up a message on the 8th of November, so what's that, middle of last week, to say
Last week. Yeah,
online ticketing was now closed because all tickets were sold, and reiterated that no tickets would be sold on the night. So,
having been to Latimer Park and smelling the Weetabix all day with yourself.
yeah,
um, and I think there was there what 1,200 when we went,
something like that, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. I'm pretty confident to say, and I would love Kevin to prove me wrong via photo evidence, not just putting on the Twitter attendance figure. Is this? I'm
Mm.
pretty confident they're not going to sell £1,200 for a county cup match at £15 a ticket.
No, I'm pretty sure they're not as well. It'd be interesting to see what they come up with their actual gate numbers for tonight's match. It's something worth investigating because it just seems not in the spirit of the game. Certainly, as I say, for county cup matches, most teams reduce their prices. It's not a league match. It's not a big cup match. It's I mean, yes, Corby and Kettering are close together. It is a local derby.
It is a
Which,
local derby, yeah.
which, if you made it available to people to buy on the gate, even if you said, okay, we're only going to have 250 tickets available on the gate, first come, first serve, that's better than
Yeah.
nothing. You've got people that just are not online and they're completely excluded from this.
Yeah. What Corby
So,
was saying, there's certain people that can't get access to the online system.
yeah.
Um, yeah, but like I say, it's also interesting to see him say that it's sold out because, again, I don't know how true this is, but I saw somebody say that they've got it on good authority that they actually only sold 100 tickets.
Yeah, again, we need to actually see what they
Yeah,
actually post as their gate figure to work that out. But yeah, so I mean, that level of football, level step 3 football, we're talking sort of like 12 to 15 quid. Go down one more level to step 4, and you've got an average price of 10 to 12.
yeah.
So,
Just on that, I have to say, a huge well done to Kelsey because they're step 4 and they still stick with the £7.
that's very good because, like I say, the
Yeah,
average for that is 10 to 12. So, yeah, that's
yeah.
good.
I was
I mean, you do
quite
get the good anomalies as well as the bad ones, certainly. So,
yeah. I
yeah.
was quite surprised when we rocked up to Kelsey last week and we're like, yeah, it's £7. I was like,
Mm.
is it Kelsey Town or is it Dudley Town? Because they're Great Show at Dudley Town, and they're like, no,
Yeah.
it's Kelsey. I'm like, okay, yeah. But Kelsey, massive community club, so they get their money elsewhere. The pitch is 4G, they rent it out in the week, so they can probably afford
Yeah.
the £7. In all honesty,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I was just I mean, step 4, which step are Bury FC in these days?
Step 5,
Step 5, I just want to see what they
yeah,
charge because obviously they've
yeah.
got
They're
Gibraltar,
northwest
which is a
counties,
big ground. So it'd be
yeah,
interesting to find out what they actually charge,
yeah.
please.
Mansfield as well. And Mansfield are step 4 now, I believe.
Okay, right. So we're talking step 5 then for Bury. So your average
Yeah,
rate for step 5 is
yeah,
between £8 and £10. Okay, now Bury, like I
yeah,
say, I could understand it if they were going to be more because they've got a
hmm
huge stadium. I'm just looking at it now. The main
yeah.
stand, adult ticket, online, £10.44. So
And
fair
that's going
play
to be
to
seated
Bury.
as well, but that's not bad. Yeah,
You're keeping it in the level that it's at. Absolutely fair play. That's good. And they will sell a couple of thousand tickets a game easily. So they
yeah,
don't really have any reason to actually make it more expensive. So
yeah.
that's step 5, sort of like eight to £10. So
Yeah. Interesting. Uh, what regions did you do your researching?
bit of all sorts. Why? What are you getting? A bit cheaper up
Because,
there.
in all honesty, yeah, step 5 for the Midland Football League. Uh, Majority are 7.
Hmm.
You get a couple of 8s. I think there's a 9 in there. I think that was Norwich, but they play at Witton Albion, so that's probably because
I
of the
mean, most
costs
of my
maybe that come
knowledge
with that.
comes from Spartan South Midlands
Yeah,
Premier, which is sort of like home counties, really. And your average there is 8, definitely. There's not much
yeah,
above 8, but there's not much below
yeah,
8 either. So,
yeah. I'd say a majority in the Midland League is 7. There's a couple that are
yeah,
8. So like I say, I think
yeah,
Norwich are 9. But like I say, given they play at Witton Albion, um, which is a
yeah,
very good ground, that probably covers the associated costs.
hmm,
Um, and
yeah.
I've got a feeling somebody was £6. I might have misread that, but I think somebody is £6. But I could be wrong with
£6
that.
is what 5 to £6 is what I expect to pay at step 6.
Step
So,
6,
I
yeah.
mean,
But yeah,
generally it's £5. Occasionally it's
yeah,
6, but more often than not it's 5 at that level. And yeah, I mean, when you can go to a game, get your pie and a pint and the ticket, and get change out of 20 quid, it's a good afternoon out, certainly. But a
yeah,
lot of these
100%.
clubs, certainly down to about step 3, a lot of the clubs do online ticketing now.
Yeah.
Most of them still sell tickets at the ground. Sometimes it's a couple of quid cheaper if you buy online in advance, and you pay a couple of
Yeah.
quid more if you do leave it to on the day. There are a few clubs around that are exclusively online ticketing.
Yeah.
One of my local clubs is Hitchin Town. It is exclusively
Oh.
online ticketing and has
Oh.
been since COVID, and they've never gone back and
Yeah.
don't want to go back. Um, I mean, I like going to Hitchin, but it does grate that it has to be an online ticket. It doesn't bother me, obviously, because I can do that, no problem at all. But it really
Yeah.
does grate on me that some people are excluded because of that. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know what they do, but that's just the way some teams have decided to go, unfortunately.
So
But
it baffles me. Um, to I'll say baffle. I'm not saying that the football world is corrupt and everyone in it is a crook, but doing the line of work I do, obviously, I can see people who are that way inclined.
yeah,
um, as a football club in this day and age, why would you want everything going online? It's all going through bank accounts, everything's straight. So the FA can go, well, we know you earn that much, so we're going to take this much from you. Or the tax man's going to go, we know. Where if some of it's cash, you can fudge it a little bit. Not that I'm encouraging it, of course.
no, but yeah,
Um,
absolutely, you could cook the books a little bit. I mean, it's more and more difficult these days, but but what
yeah,
seems to get me is you get to a Saturday afternoon at sort of like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're thinking, oh, there's a game on, I'll just wander down and get a ticket.
yeah,
And some clubs, you cannot do that now. I mean, you could be thinking, I mean, it's somewhere between £400 and £600 average, 600 people average gate at Hitchin.
yeah,
They theoretically put another 50, 60 people on that, another 10% on their gate if they sold
yeah.
tickets on the gate.
Oh, yeah, easily. Um, and I'm not subject. I am thoroughly pleased that Dividend don't sell tickets online. Because come 2:30, 20 to 3 on Saturday, I think we had 7 people through the gate.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not sure what the official figure was in the end, but just off using my eyes and knowing what the space is like around now, we would have been probably 85 to 100 people there in the end. So obviously we got all those through at the last minute. Um,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of that was also to do with Wolves being on Sky. Um, obviously fairly local to us, so people waited for that to finish before heading down or up to the beaches, depending on which way you're coming from. But then I say that I would say probably 80 to 85% of the crowd on Saturday was Shybrook,
hmm Yeah.
which
There was a
is
lot of hilltop at Amersham, to be honest, but yeah, they
yeah,
probably had about 80 on the gate, 80 people through the gate as well. But this is, I mean, I can understand to some extent, put your ticket in online initially, because
yeah,
I mean, you're guaranteeing your money up front, really, aren't you? I mean, if the match
yeah,
gets called off, you're going to have to refund the money. But if it doesn't and people don't decide not to turn up because it's peeing down, they go, oh, well, I bought a ticket, but I ain't bothering going. It's only 10 quid. That's 10 quid the club's got without any real issue. But
yeah,
what gets me is when they make it exclusively online, and I think
yeah,
I think that's unfair for all businesses. I think all businesses should offer the choice, and then
yeah,
it's up to the individual to decide how they want to pay. Like I say, I've got no problem paying for things online. I just like people to have the choice.
yeah, and it's those
Yeah.
it's that as well that we only accept card or we only accept excuse me, only accept cash. Um, today's day and age, I understand people saying, "No, we only accept card," but referees, you have to pay in cash.
Yeah. Interesting.
They won't. They won't take a bank transfer, from what we understand.
Right.
So there's no
So,
choice.
yep. Well, there's an argument for having at least some of your gate
Um,
through the door, isn't it, and get your cash in so you can pay your referees.
oh, sorry, a few technical difficulties there. I'll have to see if I can get my editing skills out. If not, you're going to get probably some of this conversation twice, but we'll see. um,
You should be able to cut off the crappy bit at the end of the last bit.
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully.
So you were just about saying about paying referees, and that has to be done in cash.
Yeah. So again, it's a little bit confusing as to why they would want card payments only. I mean, until very recently, we were one of those clubs where it was cash only, but that's just purely because we had no other way of doing it.
Yeah.
Um, we've got one of these little fancy somewhat machines now, so we got one of those. I think we pay 1.6 pence for every pound we take. So, um, but yeah, one that I found particularly strange this year, we went to Highgate pretty early on in the season. Now they put it out on Twitter and made it clear on Twitter that it was cash only on the gate. Yeah,
Yeah.
fine, wonderful, no problem. But what they failed to do was make it clear and obvious that the bar and everything else was card only.
Oh, great.
So there was people there who were like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll go and have a pint, or I'll go and get something to eat," and they were like, "Yep, yep." And they handed it like, "Oh, it's card only." They're like, "Well, I ain't got my card with me," because she said cash only for the gate, so I've just brought my cash.
Mm. Yeah, that's not good, is it? So,
No.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I've been places where you can get in the gate on the card, and then you've got to pay cash for everything you want inside, and
yeah,
uh, that tends to be if they've franchised out the food and catering. If the catering's a wagon bought in, then that might be cash only, and your gate and your club is card or whatever. So yeah, so there's a lot of variation out there, but generally speaking, the lower down you go, the cheaper it gets, and you still get a
yep,
decent game of football.
yep, definitely,
So where are
definitely.
you off to this weekend?
Uh, this weekend, Tudor again.
Hmm.
At home, Northwich Victoria, hopefully, as long as the weather holds. Uh, Second time we're playing them already this season, so it seems a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
Mid-November, we're already playing them for the second time. um, uh, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anybody we haven't played yet. Yep, Congleton, we've not played those yet.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, little bit bizarre that we're playing somebody twice before we played everybody once.
Hmm.
But yeah, but hopefully another performance like we had up at Northwich. Okay, Northwich, it was Witten. That's where they play, as I said.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we won that one 3-0. It was actually our first win of the season.
All right. Okay. Want a
Uh,
repeat of that then?
yeah, good day out. Really good day
Yeah.
out. Obviously
Yeah.
made better by the fact that we won. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Lewis Connor again was in. It could quite easily have been about 17-3 to Norwich. That's how good Lewis was that day. He
Right.
just was not going to be beaten that day. He's 3 or 4 of the saves he's made. We watched them back on the VO after, and we're like, how? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nuts. Well, I'm not actually going to a game on Saturday. I'm away the weekend doing other stuff, so I won't be going to a game Saturday. So I'm aiming to get one in Monday or Tuesday night next week, and then we can record after that and see what we found.
yeah.
I think other than the Kettering story, there wasn't an awful lot in the newspaper this week, other than VAR's results and such like. Did you see anything in the paper?
Couple of things. Nothing too major. The Horsham manager talking about cup replays and how
Yeah,
important they are to smaller clubs. Um, I think this is mainly being led by Mr. Klopp, uh, pushing the FA to get rid of replays because of their
yeah,
congested fixture list. It's like, okay, you play 38 league games, and if you're lucky, you'll play 15 Champions League games, maybe
yeah,
16, if you're very lucky. Now,
yeah,
compare that to Step 1, for example, the 24 teams in the league, so they're already playing 46 games.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
they got the cup on top.
and
I
then they
mean,
got,
Horsham have sold out tonight for the replay against Barnsley. I mean, they're
yeah,
3-0 down at the minute, but they've sold out 3,000, and they sold out in 9 minutes
yeah,
when the tickets were on sale. 3,000 tickets sold in 9 minutes.
yeah,
And that's the sort of money that you just can't get any other way when you're a club of that level. So,
yeah. Same with Cry Valley Paper Mills. I think their capacities are around about 1,500. Um,
mhm,
Future capacity is obviously higher, but the police asked them to reduce it so they could police it better,
yeah,
which is understandable. But they sold out pretty quick. I don't know what the exact time was, but they're definitely a sellout. Plus, it helps that both of those teams are also on the telly, which I believe is £26,000 per team for the
Yeah, it's
television.
26,000 TV rights for the game. So yeah, that's a massive amount for a club of that level. Absolutely massive. That'll be the season paid for. So,
Oh yeah, 100%.
so yeah,
So yeah, so for Mr. Klopp to turn around and say, "Oh, congested fixture list too congested," one, you don't play anywhere near as many games as the non-league teams in the first place, so that's not an excuse.
no,
Two,
exactly. They don't
you've
come into
probably
the
got
third round.
yeah, and two, you've probably got squads 6, 7 times the size of these non-league teams. So rotate your squads if you're playing the
Yeah.
lower league team. Put a weak
And
inside
if
out.
you
It
only
should be
want one
more than good
game,
enough.
play a decent team out there. Put a decent team out, and you'll win it no problem. And you ain't got to worry about replay. So instead
Yeah,
of
but
playing
as
your under-19s.
yeah, exactly as I say, you can play your under 23s, your under 21s, your under 19s. They should be of a good enough quality,
Yeah, it should.
if not to beat them, to at least put on a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, Man City went and did the triple last year. I didn't see Pep moaning about the congested fixture list. The only thing I think he moaned about was after the Champions League final. He said, "Well, they're now off on internationals because why are UEFA and FIFA
Yeah.
scheduling internationals at this point?" Which, in all fairness,
Yeah.
is a fair comment because he had another 6 weeks to get them in. So,
Yeah.
yeah, why do it for the week after the final? Um,
Absolutely.
what else did I see? That's last week. That's Berry. We already spoke about them.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Oh, the Phoenix Cup or the Phoenix Cup, whatever they call it.
Oh, the non-league European competition. Yes,
Yeah,
FC United are in it again, aren't they?
yeah, that's back underway. FC United won their first game. Well, interesting story. They were playing against Krakow Dragoons. Double O. So Dragoons, not Dragons.
Yeah.
Um, they were playing it on whatever night it was scheduled for. 1-0 up after 21 minutes, the floodlights cut out
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
due to a power cut in the area. So they agreed to play the game the next night, carry on, pick up from where they left off. Ended up winning 4-1, so a good start for them. Lewis, they're also in it this year.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They beat FC Oslo 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
And Enfield are also in it. And they are playing on the 28th. And I'm not sure who they've got because I've not written that down.
Mm.
So there's 3 English/British teams representing us this year. I believe FC United are in it quite often.
Enfield host holders BK Skjold on November the 28th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Tuesday night. And Enfield's not far from here.
Is that being played at
Ooh.
Enfield?
What?
Is that being played at Enfield?
Yeah, that's at Enfield.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Ooh, there's a thing. I might go. So,
But yeah, are they all Step 4 clubs?
I believe they are. Let's have a
I
look.
know FC United are. Is it on?
Let's find Control Find FC United.
It's interesting to see what the criteria is to qualify for that because I don't think either of those particularly won anything.
No, there's no particular criteria to you just get asked to enter, or you can enter, and then you'll get let in or not. So
Yeah.
Enfield
But yeah,
find all. Enfield is step 4, definitely. Who was the other one? Lewis.
Lewis, yeah.
Oh, them playing down at the Dripping Pan. Yeah, okay. They're not in step 4. So let's do it within the workbook and find out where they are. Hold on, find next. They're step 3. Lewis.
okay. Very interesting.
Southern Premier South by the look of it. Are they? Where is it? Must be in here. No, hold on. Where? Ah, no, there they are. Yeah, it's been League Premier. That's step 3. That's fine.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so that's underway and a good start for the British team so far.
FC is step 3 as well. They're all step 3. FC United and Manchester. They're step 3.
Oh, I thought that was Step 4. my dad.
Northern Premier League, so they're in. So yeah, so all three of them are step
Step
three
three.
then. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure as well if you're aware of the ongoing situation at Nuneaton.
Nunny and yeah, they've lost their ground, haven't they? So yeah, been kicked out. So
Yeah, not sure if they're going to be
they're
able to
on
continue going
they're
week.
on rugby ground.
Yeah,
So
going week to week. A bit of an interesting one. I don't know if you've looked into it much, but they were locked out of the ground because of rental arrears.
hmm
Um, I can't remember off the top of my head. It was either 6 months or 9 months. Pretty funny considering about January, February, they're doing a GoFundMe, asking for people to fund their promotion push for last season.
mm.
So it's like,
Well, where's the money gone?
well,
So,
it went on the players last season trying to get their promotion from step 3 to 2, which didn't happen. Rushall beat them in the playoff final.
yeah.
um, but he's like, okay, so you're pushing for promotion and you're asking for this money from people to help you promotion push, yet you're not paying your rent.
Mm.
Um,
Seems there's some interesting things going on behind the scenes there, definitely. So
yeah, I mean, and the chairman came out and said, well, he's found a loophole in the contract, blah, blah, because no, he's not found a loophole in the contract. So you've broke the contract by not paying your rent.
mm.
It's exactly the same as if I've stopped paying my mortgage, or I would expect at
Yeah,
some point the bank
yeah,
to come knocking and
defaulted
saying,
basically. Yeah,
yeah, saying, you know what, we've had enough of this now. See you later. We're taking the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
So I can't say that the landlord is being unfair. Um, they're saying he's being unreasonable because he's offered to pay the arrears in full, and I think somebody mentioned he offered to pay 6 months in advance as well.
Right.
But in all fairness to the landlord, how does he know he's not going to be in the same position again in 18 months?
Yeah, exactly. It's an interesting one. Certainly, it's a watch this space. See what goes on with that. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
there
the
we
final
go.
thing I saw,
Yeah.
Witton Albion of
hmm
the Northern Premier League, one of their many Step 4 divisions, have
Yeah.
signed former Burnley defender Matt Loughton.
I saw that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, who's only just actually retired from professional football
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
season. Um, he something to do with the management of Witton was at a wedding who's a family member who's related to Matt Loughton, got talking to him in the summer. I said, well, if you ever want to give non-league a go, give us a shout. And essentially he's given him a shout, so they've signed him.
Yeah. Fair enough.
um, so yeah, for step 4, so average,
Mm.
what, £10, £10 you can go and see Matt Loughton play at Witton Albion.
Yeah. Well, I saw Leroy Lita earlier this season, former Reading player, played in the Premiership with Reading. He's 37 now, but he was turning out for one team.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
get.
we saw
In fact, I think he
Lee,
even might have been playing for Nuneaton actually. But
I
yeah,
think it could have been
yeah,
Nuneaton.
it was when they came down and Hitchin thumped them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they came down as Nuneaton and went home as Eton None because they scored nothing. So, so
yeah. Saw Lee Hughes playing at Tivdale a couple of years ago. He played for
mhm,
Stourport for a few years. Quite an interesting reception he got because obviously he's not so. How should we word this? Um, his checkered past. Shall we just say leave it as that.
yeah,
um,
yeah,
was a massive. Well, he was a legend to a lot of people around here until what went down.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, that was interesting.
Excellent. Good. Well, I think that wraps up the news for the week. You've got a game Saturday. I'll certainly get in one on Monday or Tuesday, so I've got something to talk about next week as well.
Yep. Hopefully, I've got one next Tuesday as well.
Mhm.
We have Pewley Town in the second or third round of the Midland League Cup. So
Right. Excellent.
yeah,
Okie dokie. Well, let's leave it there, and we'll speak again next week, probably Wednesday. Then, if you're definitely out on Tuesday, and I'm likely to be out Tuesday, we'll reconvene next Wednesday and see what we've got.
yeah, 100%. Hopefully, I can knit these two sound files together.
Yeah, should be
If
able
not,
to. All right.
uh, if, If not, we'll have to work them out.
All right. Well, have fun editing, and
Yeah.
I'll speak to you next time.
Yep, no worries. Speak to you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.